Kate, I didn't see you bobbing your head.
Oh, I was bobbing. Well, I was watching. I mean, I thought that was a great video. I was like, this guy is super styling.
Oh yeah, if you say
I was
so.
jealous.
Tell me anything. Tell me anything. I just thought about it. I need to I think put my phone on do not disturb because
Oh,
I've hit
yes. Right. That happens too.
where folks
But
will call me.
yeah. Don't
And,
call us. We're busy.
yes, okay, Bradley. Thank you. Chernus. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, you got it. Kate
All right.
Bradley Turnus. I kept all the names, because I don't know. I like my name.
It's all good. It's a great name. And so
Thank you.
I'm going to start off with a quick story. And that's the reason why I thought about putting my phone on do not disturb, because I got a text in the other day from one of my clients and a friend. And he's like, he sent me a screenshot and it was Google Maps. And he said, Shawn, this, it's pretty cool. Like my review of your company is trending on Google Maps.
What? No way.
And I don't know if he was joking or whatnot. And so I responded back and I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if you're telling me that you don't want to be trending on Google Maps because you don't want, to get this message or, just to be out there in the world that way. Or if you're saying you love it because you're supporting our business. So, as I knew I was going to be talking to you today about, AI and, just being efficient online and, powering things through artificial intelligence, I thought of that story. And, the main reason is like certain things I don't think, Kate, you should knock it until you really try it.
Yeah.
Right. And so with the Google thing, I don't know if it's trending because we did some Google ads. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I know I've embraced technology for years. And I think obviously the world's coming around to that sort of forcefully. We've been, had to do that over the past year or so. But just the message in that story is like, kind of like around the whole AI thing, because you can tell me better than I would probably know about it. But I got to believe there was some artificial intelligence built into the reason that he got that message in his Google Maps. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's the creepy kind, though, I think too, right? When you don't know why it's happening, like I think that's why people are freaked out by AI. Like someone else was just saying to me, like the speaker systems, Alexa and all that, how much that freaks them out, and that freaks me out too. Like we don't have those, although I think they're built into my phone, and my phone is probably listening, and I don't even know it, right? But that's the kind of AI that makes me nervous.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. My wife ripped those out of our house. I came home all excited with Alexa a few years ago, and like a week later, no more Alexa. And then I was on the phone with a client once, and he said, "You know what? If I ever walk into an office and someone's got one of those Alexa devices and whatever it might be, I'm not doing business with them." And I was okay. So,
there you go. Toss it.
Let's toss it. But as I tell everyone, Kate, this is lending with purpose. And, we have great conversations with clients and friends, introductions to various forms of information and professionals like yourself and resources like Lately that we use, that we look for, we never knew existed or wanted to learn more about. I'm going to master at some point the art of an introduction. I haven't figured that out yet, and I'm just going to stick to what I know and what I'm good at. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you do, and then we'll just get to it.
Shawn, I think you're great. And I love that you think I'm a professional, which is so funny because it makes me feel like so grown up, even though I'm 47, I'm plenty grown up. But, I put on this is my only collared shirt. Like I don't have work clothes, but I put it on just for us today to try to look the part a little bit,
T-shirt, whatever.
There we go.
Next time.
But thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Kate from Lately. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Lately, which uses artificial intelligence to instantly atomize any long form content. It could be a podcast like this or a conference at a webinar, video, audio, it could be text like a blog. And the brain reads or watches your content, and then it pulls out all the best snippets to help you use them as mini commercials to promote your content. Is that good?
Oh, awesome. Fine.
I'm bad at explaining what we do.
No, you're not. That was nice and succinct. It was great. So listen, I've done some research on, your background a bit. We're actually working with your company too as well. But
Thank
Kate,
you.
you obviously have a creative writing background, marketing.
I do.
It's my understanding you were also on air personality, XM radio. Is that right?
Yes, yes, indeed. XM50, The Loft. There's my radio voice for you.
Yeah, really good music too on XM50.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah,
love that channel.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, listen, you could have likely solved a ton of problems in your life, right? But you chose to go this direction, like AI. Like,
Yeah.
why AI? And what problems were you trying to solve when this all came about with your company?
It was accidental, Shawn, to be honest with you. You know how, for me, I find that I always need catalysts in my life to see something I don't see, right? And so, just to back up, even from radio, here I was in radio, and I was really unhappy. I was in a lot of pain. Actually, my body was physically manifesting lots of stress related pain for me until I was fully incapacitated because it was trying to tell me this job ain't good for you, like this thing in life isn't working. And my dad, the catalyst in this case, had enough of me crying and being so frustrated. And he said, you can't work for other people. And there's no shame in that. Right. And so that moved me to start my first company, which was a music thing, the first one. But then someone else came along and said, hey, you're really good at marketing. We'd like you to consult us. And so I quit the music thing altogether. And then I got put on the Walmart campaign, which was really lucky.
Mhm.
And so now I'm project managing for the largest retailer in the world. And I built them a spreadsheet system that ended up getting us 130% ROI year over year. And so another friend was really interested in how I did that. And it was all spreadsheets. So he kept asking to see my spreadsheets. And Shawn, he was so annoying. He's always like calling me and coming by for dinner. And this is Steve Blood, who's now my co-founder. And Steve comes from the tech world. So he knew this whole other life. He
Oh
was
yeah,
a former, yeah, right. So he was an angel investor, a serial entrepreneur. He knew the venture capital world. He'd had multiple exits. And he was like, hey, we can just automate those spreadsheets. You just need $25,000 and we'll build wireframes. And that was all foreign language to me. I didn't know what those words meant really, and all I knew was don't touch my spreadsheets because they're awesome. But it was Steve who again, another catalyst, right? Who brought us in. And then even at that time, Shawn, we didn't know what we were doing was AI. It took us a while to even figure out that's what it was. And then we learned to capitalize on it, right?
I see. I see. What is AI? I mean, besides
Yeah.
obviously, I think I understand it, and it's easy to go online and Google and get a definition. But like, what is it? What is AI?
I had to learn too because it's not obvious. So there's two kinds of AI. There's boy, it's been a long time since I remembered this exact phrase, but there's uh, autonomous AI, and then the other one I can't remember the word for it. But the first one is like not really AI; it's just automation, right? But AI is when the computer or whatever starts to actually learn on its own, right? So the first one has to be fed by a human,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second one, sort of starts to take off. So in the world of artificial intelligence, if you imagined it would be like a human, it's only like 3 months old in our whole world. So there's no reason to be scared of AI because right now it requires all kinds of AI, really requires so much human intervention to still even spark that self-learning process.
Yes.
That we're the robots are not going to take over. No way.
I was gonna actually talk about that, like, because that's what a lot of people when I mentioned earlier in my story,
Yeah.
don't knock it until you try it. Um, the negativity that I hear about it is like the robots are gonna take over, right?
Yeah.
In some situations, they are affecting humans. In some situations. Um, However, I know for me with technology, I always like to be an early adopter uh,
Mm.
of things, and it was interesting to hear you say that it's still an infant because I was wondering how far along things are with this technology.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, still, it's still amazing, right? So, I've had to learn all this stuff, and people think, "Oh, you're an AI expert." I'm like, "Well, my CTO is really."
Right, right.
I'm learning on the job too. But one of the things we've done purposely, Shawn, is to very be very rigid about the fact that our AI, in fact, requires a human in order to connect, right? Because marketing, sales is all about connecting, and robots can't do that. Robots can take away all the hard stuff, the annoying stuff. That's what you don't want to do. But a human has to put the magic sparkle on it. So our AI on its own is pretty good, and humans on their own are great. But it's together that gets that magical thing, right? And
Yeah.
the magic isn't no joke. Like, I'm not sure if you know this, but we only use our own AI and nothing else for all of our lead generation. We don't
Mhm.
do any cold calls, no paid ads, no cold emails, and we have a 98% conversion because the AI is so good, right? But it's not just the AI; it's this combo of
With
us helping it,
right with the humans, and
the
I wouldn't
humans.
take the credit for this slogan, but I talk to people about our process. We want to have a really great experience, like mortgage experience, tech
Yeah,
experience,
yeah,
but we also want to humanize it. So we say humanizing the mortgage experience. And
exactly.
so, from using your services and understanding how it works, I think that that's what you all do too, as well as you bring the human touch and the human element into it. So you mentioned earlier that you weren't good at AI or something to that extent. Like your CTO is an expert at that. However, you're an expert at lately.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, and how it actually works. And I'm anxious to hear like like I said, how it works, where we're going. Give an example of maybe some recent wins or some wins that you've had over the time, and
Sure.
being with lately.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sean. Yeah, so lately, what happens is as a user, you connect your social media channels to lately, and we instantly go and analyze your analytics. And we're looking at the highest engaging posts that you've had, and we're looking for what made those posts engaging, what words specifically, the words, the phrases, the sentence structure. And then we build a writing model based on what we already know succeeds for you. And then anything that you feed the brain, it reads and learns from and pulls out snippets based on that writing model, right? So, for example, you could paste in a link to a blog, push a button, the brain gets to work, it's got its writing model there, it's looking for all the best keywords and phrases, and it'll give you maybe 40 social posts that are quotes of the blog, right? Because that's how it's designed. And then we allow you, and we insist that you, the human, go in to each quote and contextualize it a little bit. Maybe put on your voice, oh my gosh, or the right hashtags, that kind of thing. And we do that with, as you know, with video also. In the case with video, it transcribes the text, does the same thing, pulls, goes and looks through. And the way the AI is that, again, with the human, like you can go and see, we surface these word clouds that are like the constant words that are showing up as in posts that are doing well for you. And you have the opportunity of saying, okay, AI, pay attention more to those words. So the things that define your business the most. Humanizing, for example, could be a keyword for your company. Or you can tell the AI to ignore certain words that are like, not really essential to your brand, for example. So that's kind of the underlying thing of how it works. The wins that we've had, like, you know, I think the most important win, Shawn, is walking the talk inside and out. So the human touch is a hard thing to replicate. We know that. You know that. You're so good at it, right? And how can we take the principles of lately and use them in everything we do? So you've met my team. Who did you meet? Was it Chris?
Chris, Kristen.
Chris and
Uh,
Kristen?
but yeah, Chris got us on board. Worked with Kristen a little bit, and then we're back with Chris, working on your new user interface rolled out yesterday. I
Oh,
think.
nice. Yeah, yeah. Boy, that
Yeah,
was fun. Bumpy
that's a
ride, but
whole nother conversation, right?
that's a whole other conversation, Lord.
Yeah.
So Chris doesn't have a background in sales. He's a background in radio, just like me, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why his voice is so melty. And we don't sell. We just think about like as humans, how can we connect with you, and how can we do the hard work for you, right? And then what is that? How do I say this? Like, so putting the extra spin on the work that you have to do with lately, the human part, a lot of people don't want to do it because it is work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that, but it is how the magic happens. If you want to have a 98% sales conversion like I do, you got to do that. And it's the same way with how we talk to our customers. So, we do heavy onboarding. You have 3 or 4 sessions where you have to hang out and have a meeting with us like an enterprise sale. So we treat our smaller businesses just like we would a larger company. And some people are allergic to that, Shawn, which is so amazing. Like they don't want to hang out with us. And we're like, well, then you can't be my customer. Because we've learned that if we say, for example, we did a group demo, people don't ask questions and they don't learn. They want the one-on-one, you
Right,
know?
right, right. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't struggle with that a bit when we got
Yeah,
started, because it is some work, and
it's work.
some of us want instant gratification. I'm not always like that, but this particular thing, I'm just like AI. They said it's just gonna work, right? I just put it in, and the robot reads and thinks everything, and it reads my mind, and it's just gonna put it out there.
Right.
I don't know, but
That's what I would like.
yeah, I
Read
know.
my mind.
And I had to take a step back and say, hey, listen, you really need to get involved with this and figure out like where you see it going. And, heard the quote, start with the end in mind, like
Yeah.
where you want to be with it. And so we sort of drilled down on it. And the thing that I liked when I first spoke with Chris is he's also a podcaster.
Yes.
And I was thinking about like ways in which, because with what I do is everything about adding value to the community that I serve. And, there's a lot of influencers and a lot of content creators and such that that I'm friends with. There's, folks in the mortgage industry like myself that are trying to get information out to consumers, and consumers trying to get the information in the best way that they can. And so from speaking with Chris, I'm like, oh, wow. And instead of me trying to go through a half hour to an hour long conversation, trying to figure out exactly what I should be pulling out for someone that's only going to listen to 8 seconds or 3
Right.
seconds, if I'm lucky of it.
Yep.
Uh, this particular platform that you have is a great idea and a great way for us to scale our marketing, right, and to be very efficient with doing it as well. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us that chance, by the way. I really appreciate that.
no, it makes sense.
And it's you're right. And it's funny because we're still in that place. The humans have to coach the AI along. I think of this metaphor, which is so interesting. It's kind of a little bit of the reverse, but I can't remember if it was Betty Crocker or Duncan Hines, but when they first put like cake in a box, they actually put powdered eggs in the mix. So you actually didn't have to do anything. You just like put in water and just cooked it. But it didn't sell because the humans, the wives at the time, right? They didn't feel like they had actually baked the cake. They haven't done any work. So they took the eggs out and they made it so that a human had to add in some eggs, right? And that was the magic.
I see. So you saying everyone loves the struggle?
Yeah, yes. It's so funny like that because, well, that's when you see it light up. And there's some, we started doing, I started doing a writing course basically on exactly this. So what are my writing tips that when I'm optimizing the content, what am I actually doing? And as I was researching this, Shawn, this is fascinating. So companies waste $400 billion each year on poor writing skills. 400 billion. That's just in the US alone, because they don't know how, but they don't want to. That hard part is so hard, right? So here's a secret for you. We actually have a next generation of lately where we do rewrite content in your own voice.
So I'm not following. So
Yeah.
how do we waste money on poor writing skills? Like what's an example?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you for asking that. So it's a bunch of ways in sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So just by not understanding the audience and kind of guessing at what to say.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of time and money wasted on loss of sales. So customer confusion is the number one reason for a loss of sales. That's why that trust factor is so important, and consistency, right? Consistency is everything in your marketing messaging, meaning it's have a Coke and a smile, not have a Coke and a grin, right? So important to have that consistency. So that's why marketing advisors always recommend a cadence in not only when you publish, but then the keywords. That's just why Lately's looking for these keywords for you all the time. The other reason is internally, Shawn. So how we communicate with each other. Here's an example. If I'm going to have a meeting with people and I know they're on the West Coast, I don't say, I'll see you at 12 p.m. Eastern. I don't say I'll see you at 12 p.m. I say I'll see you at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right? Do the math for them, right? But that's not what happens. And so then there's this go back and forth because people are bad at math, right? Or for example, everything from putting a smiley face or on your content or exclamation marks or emojis. This voice that we have, you and I have, is it's the voice that people hear in their text, right? When you read text, you hear a voice, and you want to make sure that you're heard. Your communication is very, very clear because you want people to do something. That all communication is about wanting to do something, getting your husband to take out the trash, getting your 13-year-old to pick up the living room, making a sale, getting your CTO to publish the code today, right? Whatever it is. And when we don't communicate well internally as an employees, as teams, we're wasting each other's time there.
Right.
And so the result is that companies are actually sending their employees back to school for remedial writing training courses because it's so bad, which is crazy, right? So the writing course that I give is designed to help people kind of undo some of the rules we've been taught. For example, like bury the lead is an easy one. We all were taught to write an essay in college, in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you spend like the first paragraph warming people up.
Yeah.
And then you write like, a couple pages, and then at the end, aha, here's your big discovery, right? But
And
that's not
got through it all. You can't. Yeah.
That's right. You got to put it right up front, right?
Yeah.
And that's as easy as, and I know we're getting in the weeds here, but I say vomit, edit, right? So you vomit out your idea, your words, your messaging, and then you want to pull back and edit. And for most people, even a social post, the first 5 words, or you can 86 them, the first couple sentences of an email, they're just filler.
So the first 5 words are the most important.
Yeah, right away, because we're all impatient, right? And it's not even just the first words, it's what are kinds of words. So I'll give you an example. Verbs are very powerful. Verbs command people to do things. All of marketing and sales is about a call to action, right? In social, there's only 2. It's share or click, right? But if you say share or click, people don't do that because they know you're onto them. So you have to really get sneaky about it. So the verbs that you choose should give people an understanding of what the value is if they click it. So for example, I read a sentence recently that said, using this software has allowed us to increase XYZ, where it should have started with increase your XYZ with this software. See the difference?
Right.
Yeah. And when you put the verb up front, it's a command. So by nature, you and I, we just go like do it. when you use an active verb in that way, we're feeling compelled to do the thing. It's just a nature thing, right?
All right. Drop your headset. The show's over.
Did I get in too much in the weeds there for you?
No, it's perfect. That's well, you're a professional question asker or interview.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you want to get, extract information from people that's relevant, that's usable. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm taking notes, and
You're the best.
Yeah. So no, thanks for that. I do have one more question for you.
Sure.
And so put yourself in my shoes, right? My friends are in the mortgage industry, tons of friends in the mortgage industry. I also have clients as well. So
yes.
Put yourself in my shoes and you want to create and do content to be able to get out to individuals to help them with home ownership information,
Mhm.
what would you do? Where would you start?
Yeah, so I would start with thought leadership articles if you don't create your own. So a lot of people are writing about this stuff. So that's a great way to do it. And you can do it manually, by the way. You don't need Lately to do this. So just if you want to do the hard way, you can. So you could go through a thought leadership article, and oftentimes the titles are very boring and not very compelling. So instead, find excerpts, find other sentences that are like mini movie trailers that give people a teaser. If they read this, if you turn this one sentence into the headline of your social post and then put a click back to that thought leadership article, for example, you look good because you look smart, right? And that's what you want. You need to look like an authority that people trust out in social. And then you could find, for example, let's say 15 social posts in that one article, and you would schedule them out over time. So there's a drip feed of content coming out from you. And you can do this with multiple articles so that you always have something going out. And because you've chosen different sentences, it's not the same thing. It's not spammy, right? So when people will continue to reshare the content because they'll either won't remember that it was the same blog from before. So that's so interesting. It tells you how our brains work. We need different access points as humans because we value different things, Shawn, right? All of us do. And that's what the RAI, by the way, is doing. The words that it's surfacing to you are saying, hey, we know, because we can read from your analytics, that your audience values these sets of words versus these sets of words, So that's one thing to do. That's an easy way to, because creating content is hard, Shawn. I mean, you're doing it right now. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the time to create content, that's one way. Another way, if you don't have to create content, which I don't actually, is to do this, is to try to get on as many podcasts as you can. And it's not very hard because you need a guest and I need the content, right? Everyone. So it's a win-win. I used to say the world is made up of broadcasters and fans, right? And we both need each other. And some of us get to be both, a broadcaster and a fan,
Right.
which is great. So that's another thing. Like for us, so I really only do this for lead gen, right? This is our sole content. I'm going to ask you for the file. I'm going to do the same thing you're going to do with Lately, right, afterwards. So those two things. And then if you do want to create content yourself in the mortgage industry specifically, I would try to figure out, I feel like the mortgage industry is a black box for a lot of people. They don't understand it. They don't understand numbers. It's very complicated. This is my experience anyways. What can you write about that is, like my friend Nicole Hamilton is in the mortgage industry, and most of her thought leadership work that she creates is actually about basic stuff that homeowners do all the time, like how to caulk a tub, right? So she doesn't even write about the money part. She writes about the stuff anyone can relate to, and then she turns that into her conversion. I love that idea because it's the no sell, and you get a wider net because not everyone is always looking for a mortgage or to get a better deal or whatever. But everybody, a lot more people, have a tub that probably has some issues, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's where this all came about. I just refused to come on here and talk
You're
about
doing it.
30-year fixed rates and mortgage products and things of that nature. Like that's just not what I think is a good value add to the community. So
exactly.
we started there. So no, thanks for that. So before I let you go, a couple more things. How can we help you? So I'm gonna put your information in there. I'm gonna pop it up
thank you.
so that folks can see it, and I'm sure they can connect with you on LinkedIn.
Thanks, Emma.
But how about Lately in general? How do we contact you? Is there anything that we can do to help you?
Well, actually, the thing that you can do to help me is to keep doing what you're doing. You shared with me before we popped on here that you've created a venture fund for underdogs, and I think that's amazing. And I want you to tag me whenever you publish content about that so I can reshare it for you. So thanks for doing that, Shawn. It's awesome. Because, in our job in life is to lift others up. That's the job. And you can only do that when you're up, right? So that's your karmic role.
Right.
And otherwise, www.lately.ai is us. And I love it when people connect with me on LinkedIn, especially or anywhere. We're friendly. We're people. We're humans just like you. And we're just trying to do this really crazy thing. And it's a lot of fun. And we think of our customers, as you know, as our team, right? Because we can't do that. I can't do it by myself. I need your help.
Right. Right. Thank you for that. And
Thank you.
you seem like a fighter too. I've been watching you out there and celebrating your wins in the venture capital world and such. Good for you.
Thank
So
you.
last thing, lending, right? Told a little story about our company and things of that nature. We've been talking about mortgages, just a touch. Purpose. Purpose. So I'm interested to hear what you would have to say about this, but you get one person, dead or alive, one question. So breakfast, lunch, coffee, dinner, email, phone call, whatever it might be. Who would it be and what would you ask?
Oh, wow. That's a good question, and it's hard. So in my mind, I'm just gonna flip. I'm gonna pick one different, I think, but I thought of Keith Richards for 1 second, and then I thought of Andy Summers for another second. So because I like rock and roll. But then I thought of my cousins. I have my three cousins died in a fire 37 years ago.
Right. Wow.
And yeah. And I would just like to know what's it like on the other side.
That's a great question. That's a great question. We haven't had that question yet. And each week, Kate, we get something or someone different. But that is a very good question. I think a lot of us would like to hear that, and it'd be cool to know.
It's obvious, right? But
Yeah.
I missed them. The middle child was my age. She's the girl. There were two boys and a girl, and we were best buddies. And I don't know. I'm curious now more than ever, especially with COVID. What's it like?
What's it like?
Yeah. So kind of silly question, I guess.
All right. We're going to pick you back up after this though.
Yeah.
I know that's sometimes a tough question to answer for some people, but I know you're going to fight through it and get through the rest of the day and not think about that the answer to that question.
I love that you did. It's there's so many people in our lives, dead or alive, that you don't get to think about too often because you're busy, and you just reminded me of the joy of knowing them. So thank you.
Oh, no worries. And so, Kate, I'll ask you to just hang tight for like another minute or so after this. But, everyone, round of applause. Thanks again for having Kate Bradley turn us on with us. Kate Lee from Lately. Thank you so much for joining us. As everyone knows, each week I say if I can do anything to help anyone in their network, I'm more than happy to do so. If there's a connection out there that I could make, it just would be such a shame for me to have all these connections and relationships and not be able to help those. So please reach out if we can help in any way. Try to stay as healthy and as safe as possible. We're still in the pandemic, so just do your best to do so. And we will see you all next week. So, Kate, thanks again.
Thank you.